Hi there, I'm Reza, founder of Capture Accounting. I've got my colleague Brendan with me here today, and today we're going to be talking about all things to do with VAT. As you grow your business as a content creator and influencer, when do you need to start thinking about that three-letter acronym VAT? So, Brendan, kick us off. If I've started to do my, I'm starting to monetize my YouTube channel. I am getting interest from advertisers giving me some income to do some sponsored ads for them. When do I not need to start thinking about VAT and having to register for it?
Okay, it's all to do with your taxable income, okay, which essentially can be built up from numerous different activities, but I'll come back to that. But once your taxable income is above 85,000, then you must register for VAT. That does not include Google AdSense. The biggest question I get asked all the time is, does my Google AdSense go towards that? No, it does not. It is out of scope for VAT, which means you essentially will not determine that. So if you have sponsorships or anything else that collates into that, it's only that, it's not your Google AdSense.
Fantastic. So if I'm just getting AdSense income and I'm earning over £100,000, £200,000, I don't have to worry about any VAT because it's not treated as tax VATable income essentially, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Okay, so what are the types of income that are subject to VAT? When do I need to be concerned about? So you mentioned a couple, sponsorships. What else typically would fall within the bracket of taxable activity?
When you're looking at YouTubers, in a lot of situations, what you'll have the AdSense, you'll have sponsorships. You might have a product that you sell out the back of it, or a course, or something that comes out of it as a service at the end of it. There are different routes and different streams of revenue that you will have. Of course, you will have other social media platforms that might come into this as well. That, again, you wouldn't necessarily have them under a taxable income, but you could look at sponsorships, any kind of goods, services that you have out the back end of it.
Excellent. What's the flip side then? So if I register before we talk about the flip side, when I register for VAT, what does that mean? What do I have to now start doing, which I didn't have to do before I was VAT registered?
Okay, so the first big one, unfortunately, is a lot more administration. So by that, I mean record keeping. You have to be a lot more on the ball, because you will need to make sure that you have VAT receipts for every expense that you put through and for every invoice. Okay, so the big thing here, record keeping. The next stage is past that is maybe an accountant, or if you've done it yourself, is submitting a VAT return to say how much is due, either quarterly, annually, depending what scheme you're on.
Fantastic. And how much do I need to charge as VAT to my customers? And does it depend whether they're in the UK or outside the UK?
It certainly does. So if you're distance selling outside of the UK, then you will have to charge based on that state. So if you're in the EU, it'll be per state of what their rules are around VAT. The UK, 20% on top of your sales.
Fantastic. So if I have got an online product and I'm selling that anywhere and everywhere, and I've got customers across the world, how do I go about fulfilling my VAT obligations in those states?
So this is a big thing that comes up a lot, and a lot of people end up penalised and in bad situations because of it when they come to us. But the idea behind it is there's something called a digital service, which is distance selling, which means when you're looking at VAT, it's not where you're based, it's where the customer's based. Which means if you have someone where you're essentially got a supply in Germany, France, you should be paying VAT there. Okay, not to go too much into detail into this, okay, but there is ways where we can help obligate, why we can help be able to submit returns to a European state, for example, to the UK, or we can fulfill other obligations if you're looking at the US sales tax, that side of things.
Absolutely. This area is a complete minefield. When we specialize, we had to learn it for ourselves, and there are lots of nuances, lots of complications and complexities in this particular area. So if you're not working with a specialist accountant, chances are they don't know much about this, because they've got to worry about 57 different industries that they are working with. Thankfully, at Capture Accounting, we only deal with content creators, influencers, so we understand this space pretty well, because we've gone narrow and deep into this particular sector. So the flip side of, sorry, Brendan?
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning, this is recent, the changes. There used to be thresholds across Europe, across even the UK, but now you look at the thresholds and they're gone. So it was around July 2021, this all changed. Everything changed across Europe specifically. So it's worth, just because it worked back then, might not work now. So worth checking.
Absolutely, great point. So the flip side of registering for VAT is that you can now start to reclaim VAT, right? Because before, you just had to pay out VAT and it was a cost to you. Now you can claim back VAT, is that right? What can I claim back VAT on?
You certainly can. A good cost to start off with is our accountancy fees. Of course, most, if not all, accountants in the UK, you'll notice are all VAT registered. So it's all included in our fees. There's other costs that come up as well. Because you're online based and you're looking at softwares, in a lot of cases you'll notice they don't charge VAT. Okay, Microsoft's, the Googles, all of that sort of things, they don't charge VAT. But there's a lot of stuff domestically that does, and it can be small stuff. Even stuff like mileage that you can claim through the business. You can get scale rates, so you can claim certain amounts of VAT back on your mileage. So it's worth speaking to an accountant. We can help get the most for you.
Absolutely. I guess the big one is on the equipment, right? Because there are big amounts if you're buying, the latest iMac, or you're buying the latest, Sony camera, or even a green screen, any equipment. If you're buying it in the UK, that's going to have VAT on it, meaning you can reclaim that, can't you?
Yeah, you certainly can. You certainly can. And it's always a big cost for any YouTuber is equipment to be able to film, edit, and that sort of things. It's unfortunately, everyone thinks you just turn up. You don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another big benefit, which often accountants miss, or if you're trying to do this yourself, you probably won't be aware of it. But this would be a massive saver for you, and hopefully you'll take this on board, or you'll come to us and we'll do it for you. But if I register for VAT now, but I bought all my equipment, so I've been doing my YouTuber business for the last year or so, and I've bought all my equipment, can I go back and reclaim VAT from everything that I've bought in the past?
Yes, the simple answer is yes. There is time limits, okay, and it depends on what you're looking to do, goods or services, so you'd have to speak to someone like ourselves who would be able to help you with that. But the idea is, yes, there is time limits to where you can backdate VAT, but you can backdate those initial costs to the business.
Fantastic. So last 6 months, is it for any, if I bought any equipment in the last 6 months, I can go back and reclaim the VAT?
You certainly can. Yeah, you certainly can.
Absolutely. So if you have recently purchased a lot of equipment, then it might be worth thinking about registering for VAT, even if you haven't quite reached the threshold. You can do a voluntary voluntary registration. So even if you haven't gone past the threshold, you can still register because it makes sense for you to do so. Certainly if you don't have any individual customers in the UK, meaning that they're not going to suffer by your price being 20% higher. If you just have people who are paying you on a sponsorship basis, then they're probably going to be large companies who are already VAT registered, meaning that they can recover the VAT you're charging them. So it might make sense for you to register early on, so at least you can reclaim all the VAT that you are spending out. Brilliant. Okay, is there anything else on that topic, Brendan, that we need to cover off?
I think we've covered most of the points.
Fantastic. Excellent. So have you got some value from that in terms of when you have to register with VAT, what's involved, what are the benefits, how to go about doing it, and if you need help in that regard, you know what to do, just click on the links below and you can book a call with us and we'll talk you through it and help you along the way. So have you got value from that video? If you haven't already, check out other videos here, there, and everywhere, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon. Take care and bye for now.